In today's global market, everything is super competitive. In making the right connection, well, that can literally be the difference between your business just staying put or absolutely exploding with growth. So today we're going to dive into this whole world of buyer-seller matchmaking and see how it's unlocking international trade for businesses, maybe even one like yours. So let me ask you this. Are you struggling to find the right international partners? I bet for any of you with global ambitions, that question really hits close to home, right? You've got this amazing product, you know people across the world would love it, but actually finding them, man, it can feel like searching for a needle in a giant global haystack. And hey, if you're nodding along right now, you are definitely not alone. Get this. According to the International Trade Center, a whopping 80%, that's 8 out of 10 small and medium-sized businesses say this exact problem is their number one barrier to growing their exports. That's a massive number. It just goes to show you how huge of a deal this really is. Okay, so let's dig into what we're calling the global handshake problem. I mean, why is it so incredibly tough to connect with businesses across borders? What's really going on here? Well, it really comes down to a few core things that just create a ton of friction. First, you've got different languages, right, and unfamiliar cultures, which can cause some serious and sometimes expensive misunderstandings. Then you've got this web of complex regulations that are different everywhere you go. But, maybe the biggest one of all is just trying to build trust with a total stranger on the other side of the planet. How do you even do that? So when you put all of that together, you start to realize that finding that perfect partner, that one ideal buyer or seller, it's not just some kind of bonus or a luxury. No, it's a strategic imperative. Think about that. It's not just something on a checklist, it's a core piece of your entire global strategy, just as important as the thing you sell or how much you sell it for. All right, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly. So what's the solution? Well, this is where the modern trade matchmaker comes into play. These are services built for one reason, to bridge that gap between buyers and sellers. But what is buyer-seller matchmaking, really? Let's break it down. At its heart, it's a service designed to do three things: build trust, make things way more efficient, and make sure everyone's on the same page before you get deep into negotiations. So what does that look like in practice? Well, they get rid of that friction from the get-go, those awkward first emails. They speed up the whole process of finding the right people. And crucially, they vet these potential partners. This is huge because it seriously cuts down your risk of wasting time with someone who isn't reliable. Now, this isn't just one single thing. There's a whole toolkit that modern matchmakers use, so let's open it up and see the different ways they actually build these global connections. Yeah, there are a bunch of different models. You've got digital platforms that work kind of like a dating app for businesses, right? They use algorithms to connect you. Then there are virtual events, which are super efficient. Just a series of scheduled one-on-one video calls. If you need that face-to-face element, you have the more traditional trade missions. And for the really big, important deals, you can get tailored services where a dedicated advisor basically handpicks introductions for you. And of course, there are ones that focus only on specific industries. And when you put the old way next to the new way, the difference is, well, it's night and day. Think about it. The old way, sending tons of cold emails, is a total crapshoot. It's high risk, and it can take months of just grinding. But the new way, with matchmaking, it's targeted. The risk is way lower because everyone's been checked out, and you're looking at weeks of actual conversations, not months of dead ends. It's just a smarter way to spend your time and money. Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. What's the bottom line for your business? What are the real, tangible benefits you can actually see on your balance sheet? Benefit number one is just plain better market access. Imagine, instead of you having to knock on 100 random doors hoping one opens, matchmaking is like having a key that opens the right doors. You get connected with people who are already vetted and are actually looking for what you've got. Number two, higher conversion rates. And this one's just common sense, right? When you're talking to a buyer who has already said, hey, I need something like this, your chances of closing that deal just skyrocket compared to a totally cold pitch out of the blue. And benefit number three is all about playing the long game. These aren't just one-and-done deals. Because you start off on the right foot with everyone aligned, these partnerships are way more likely to turn into long-term, sustainable relationships. We're talking repeat business year after year. And look, the numbers don't lie. If you look at the chances of actually closing a deal, cold outreach is, well, it's a long shot. Your typical marketing might do a little better, but look at matchmaking. It's in a totally different league. your probability of success goes way up.
So, who is this for exactly? The great thing is, it's for pretty much everybody in the global trade game. Exporters, importers, startups, and smaller businesses trying to make a name for themselves. Even big organizations like trade associations can use this to create opportunities for all their members.
And this all leads to a really important shift in how we think about this. We need to stop seeing matchmaking as just another service you buy. It's not. It's a genuine competitive advantage in today's economy. And here's why. The best of these services are evolving. They don't just make an intro and then disappear. They're moving towards end-to-end support. They're there with you from that very first hello all the way through to getting the ink dry on the contract. There's a phrase from the source material that I think is perfect, a force multiplier. And that's exactly what this is. It takes all the hard work your team is already doing and just multiplies its effect. It lets you punch way above your weight class. So really, when you boil it all down, this is what it does. It gives your business the tools to break through borders, to build up credibility fast in places where nobody knows you, and ultimately it puts you in a position to truly thrive on the world stage. So I'll leave you with this question. We've talked about the challenges, but we've also seen the clear solutions that exist. So is your business ready to finally cross that bridge and go global?